What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing the NBA All-Star Game 2024 rosters have now been announced, and some surprises, a few not so much, and honestly, the players that are heading, starting wise to Indianapolis, I believe every player on this list, every player that was chosen by the fans is well deserved. They get the recognition. A lot of people are upset at a few of the players that are, being named as starters, but what can you do? The fans did have the vote this go around. As we know, the second go around will be determined by coaches alike in the NBA. So without further ado, as we all know, LeBron James will be making his record-setting 20th straight All-Star appearance as a starter in this year's All-Star game, and it's well-deserved from the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Even though the Lakers aren't that good this year, it was going to be a LeBron James-headed show going into this one. Last year, after, breaking the all-time scoring record and, the NBA putting on a not even a performance, but just a moment for Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to also be there with LeBron James at last year's All-Star game. The top three all-time leading scorers in NBA history all together in one moment. Now, also joining LeBron James on the West will also be Nikola Jokic, without question. We know the Joker is very, very popular. Last year's NBA Finals MVP, along with, the Denver Nuggets playing at, their high level of basketball, coming off of a pretty, bad loss to the New York Knicks. But, at the end of the day, you still have to have Joker in this particular game. You look at the Phoenix Suns, and one being Kevin Durant, who will also be a starter in this year's game. KD, who we all know since his time in the league, being an all-star is definitely at the peak of one of the things that he's done as many years as he's been in the league. Also, on the West, you have Luka Doncic, very exciting young player. And when you look at Luka and you look at the things he's been able to do in his time in the league, him being an all-star is definitely one that goes without saying. The fans will vote in some Luka magic, of course. Now, on the West, this particular player I thought was going to be an all-star. I gave him the nod, but I actually thought the fans were going to outvote him and not have him starting, and that is SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I really didn't think he was going to be a starter. All-star, yes. Starter, not so much. I thought Anthony Edwards was going to be the actual, other backcourt player for the West, but SGA will be an all-star starter for the Western Conference. Well-deserved, because the Thunder are playing some great basketball. The second youngest team in the league. As the time of this video is being recorded, I'm not sure if they're first in the West still or they are actually number 2 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But again, SGA, well-deserved. I mean, the guy is averaging numbers that put him in the tops with the elites of the league as far as scoring goes. And the guy just goes out there, does his game, never is going to cheat the game, always goes out there and does what he's supposed to do nightly. Now, for the Eastern Conference All-Stars, the number one, I gotta mention this guy first because this guy has been very, very, very exciting. His team has been exciting, and that is Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. This guy has been on another level this season. man, from the in-season tournament to just having the Indiana Pacers be exciting as they are due to him, the double-digit assists nightly, the no turnover games. I mean, just as much as you've ever seen an offense as high-powered as this, he is the engine that makes it go. You look at whether you want to gauge it against good teams or gauge it against the elite teams, Tyrese Halliburton deserves to be an all-star starter. Now, in the backcourt with Tyrese Halliburton will be Damian Lillard, and Dame Tom deserves to get his, kudos and just due to be an all-star. Now, I have a gripe about Dame being an all-star, and I don't think Damian Lillard should be an all-star starter. Just due to the simple fact, I think Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks was having a better first half of the season. But again, this is determined upon the fans and who the fans deem should be, in the game and who they wanted to see be a starter. Do I still think Jalen Brunson will be an all-star? Yes, I think he will be a reserve along with Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers. That's another player that I think will also be a reserve to the Eastern Conference. Now, from the Boston Celtics, you have Jason Tatum, last year's All-Star MVP. Of course, this guy with the Boston Celtics with the best home record in the NBA. This team by far is very scary. They're very loaded. And I think Jason Tatum, is ascending as far as we get into the realms of, top 5 in the league. He can be considered along with the Jokers, the Embiids, the SGAs, the Lukas. I feel like 5 or 6 could be Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Also in the Eastern Conference, you have the MVP so far this year, and that is Joel Embiid. The guy just put up 70 in a game. The guy is lethal every night. 30s is his calling card. You might as well pencil him in for a 30-point performance every single game. This man is on another level. There is not a more, in my opinion, there is not a more lethal and dominant low post center right now other than Joker. There is only, if Joker is 1A, Joel Embiid got to be 1A too. They are literally that close. And Joel Embiid being an all-star starter this year is well deserved. Last year's NBA MVP, you have to give this guy his just due, and being an all-star this year as well deserved. The leading vote getter for the Eastern Conference All-Star this year is none other than the Greek freak himself, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And what else can you say about this guy? Multiple-time All-Star, MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. The list goes on and on and on about his accolades. The Milwaukee Bucks definitely have their, cornerstone franchise player in Giannis, and of course this is well deserved by the fans to vote him in this season, averaging 31 points a game, almost 12 rebounds, close to 7 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Eastern Conference leading vote getter of this year's NBA All-Star game. And like I said, this particular outset was set forth by the fans. And on February 18th, this is who you want to see playing in the game. You want to see the stars of the league. And by far, you want to see these guys put on a show and do what us as fans love to see them doing that is play the game of basketball. Now we will have the reserves named in a couple of days to see who will actually fill out the rest of the roster. Now, my question to you guys is, do you like this format back to East versus West, or do you want to see the draft being back implemented? I'm old school. East versus West is not a bad thing, but also I wasn't mad or upset at the draft. I just think, some processes should be a lot shorter than what they are. But last year when they actually picked the teams, on the court, I don't think the NBA gave that too much of a I don't think the NBA really gave too much thought into that process. I think when the NBA looks back and they see East versus West and see how that thing works, but I think what the NBA really want to see is competitive all-star basketball. But it has to be something there, and the players have to be the one to want to, include themselves in high-level all-star basketball. The days of Michael Jordan, the days of Kobe Bryant, the days of guys being competitive, it has to be headed by somebody or someone, to say, okay, let's go out there, we'll have fun the first quarter, maybe quarter and a half. Going into the third, let's start to ramp it up defensively and things like that. But again, that's up to the players to want to actually do that. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. NBA fans, or if this is just your first time tuning into the channel, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to the channel. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I catch you guys on the next video.